Welcome to our Old Time Radio podcast. I'm Wayne, your host. These podcasts are sponsored by OldTimeRadioPage.com. Okay, turn up the volume, sit back and listen. Here's episode 9 of Chandu the Magician.
Chandu the Magician. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We present for your enjoyment Chandu the Magician. And before our drama begins, we would like to suggest that probably you will like White King better than any other soap you have ever used. If you have a washing machine, listen. Get some White King from your grocer. Put some in your washer. Not so much, mind you, as the soap you've been using. Put in your clothes. Put in the water, but not so hot as the water you thought you had to have to get things clean. Then turn on the power, run your wash through, and just see with your own eyes what happens. We try to make this radio drama thrilling, but honestly, what a thrill you'll have when you see clothes washed with this different kind of soap. Save on your soap bill. Save on your gas bill. Save on your clothes bill. You'll say, I love White King granulated soap. While Frank Chandler calls at the home of Princess Naji, Dorothy, Betty, and Bob, here in a bazaar in Cairo, an Egyptian storyteller relate a colorful story of Persia. A moment later, with Dorothy and Bob only a short distance away, the storyteller whispers to Betty that he will find a way to see her again. Dorothy returns just in time to see him before he disappears in the crowd. She cries out that he is wearing a ring which belonged to her husband, Robert Reagent. Now, an hour later, the three of them are waiting for Chandler's return to their suite in Shepherd's Hotel. Chandu the Magician.
Are you sure about the ring, Mother?
Oh, yes, of course I am. I had it made for your father myself.
You had it made?
Yes. He always liked seal rings, so I had one made for him with a real seal, like the ones men used to sign their letters in the Middle Ages.
With a coat of arms or something?
It was like that, except that the seal was made of just his initials, RMR, in odd, irregular letters I found in an old manuscript.
He must have loved it.
Oh, he did. He always wore it. Where could that storyteller have got it?
Hey, here's Uncle Frank.
Oh, Uncle Frank, the most mysterious thing just happened in the bazaar.
Somebody sold you a genuine scarab for a dime.
Oh, no. This is something real.
Altogether too real.
Dorothy, you've been crying. What's the matter?
A storyteller in the bazaar. He sat down on the ground and told a story.
It was about a man named Antar.
That's one of their stock stories. Antar was a legendary hero 1,000 years ago.
Well, not this one. The war was in it.
This last war?
It did sound like it, Uncle Frank.
Well, anyway, then he sang a song. A chintzy thing about gardens and jasmine and stuff. So I thought...
Oh, never mind that, dear. Frank, he had on that ring of Robert's.
Roberts?
And as soon as he heard me say I recognized it, he just seemed to evaporate.
Well, did he seem to be telling the story to you, or did you just happen along?
No, we were there when he began, but I don't know.
Yes, you do, Mother. He began the story when he was out in the middle of the street.
Don't you remember, Mom? You said he's looking over at us.
So he did make sure it was you. Did any of you speak to him?
Well,
No, of course not.
Except that I did call after him. Frank, can't we do something?
Well, the only thing to do is wait for him to show up again.
Oh, no.
We don't even know his name, Dot. He may not even live in Cairo. There are any number of these wandering storytellers about.
Oh, but it seems so inhuman just to sit here if Robert needs us.
I know it does, dear, but remember, he deliberately started to tell you a story. He threw in a mention of the war in the old story of Antar. So I think he was trying to tell you something. You alone, without the others in his audience understanding it.
I wonder if he was.
And you said he sang, too.
Oh, yes.
That's unusual.
Oh, is it Uncle Frank? Well, we wouldn't know that, though.
No, but if he thought anyone else suspected what he was doing, he might put them off with a song. These people are always fascinated by their traditional songs.
You mean that song was just an old tune, thousands of years old?
Probably. Why?
You don't think he just made it up on the spot for you, I hope.
No, only...
Dot, if this man tried to give you a message and couldn't, he'll find a way to reach you again.
Oh, yes, I see now, Frank. You're right. You must be.
And now, listen to my news.
Oh, we forgot all about the princess. Did you find her palace? Did you see her? What's she like?
Well, just a minute, Betty. Of course I found it. I've been there before, you know.
When you saved her life?
Shortly afterwards. 10 or 12 years ago.
Before you went to India?
Yes.
Well, tell us about the palace first.
Well, it isn't a palace, Betty. It's a large house in a big walled garden that runs right down to the Nile.
Oh, lush and oriental. Oh, tell us all about it.
Oh, darling, how can he? Give him a chance to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I won't say another word.
Well, the place is at the end of a narrow street, hardly more than a lane. One of the oldest in the city.
If she's a princess, why doesn't she live in the king's palace, Uncle Frank?
Well, she doesn't belong to the family of the present reigning house, Betty.
Who is she, then?
Well, she's the last of a very, very old line, I understand. There's always been a bit of mystery about it.
Don't you even know?
There are lots of things I don't know, honey. Nadji went to school in Europe for a time, I know that. But as I told you, she has the reputation of being a sorceress.
Go on, Uncle Frank, go on.
Well, there's a great iron gate in a high wall. I rang the bell, and a huge Arab servant let me in.
Did he know who you were?
He seemed to. He took me through the courtyard, and he left me in a great oriental drawing room. Well, I must have waited an hour before he came back. Then, to my astonishment, he said she wasn't there.
Why keep you waiting all that time?
I can't imagine.
Well, where is the princess? Didn't he say?
No? I asked as many questions as I could without seeming discourteous. I learned exactly nothing.
But if she expected
I'll
you...
bet that old rock sore's got her.
Do you think so, Uncle Frank?
Well, I think she may have gone away somewhere to get out of his reach.
You do? Oh, don't you remember what she said to him that night?
Oh, the night we saw her in the crystal talking to Roxanne?
Yes. Why, it was that conversation that sent us over here. She certainly didn't seem afraid of him.
I'll say she didn't. She said everybody else could fall over on their faces if he said the word, but not her.
Yes, she did. Not in just those words, but...
I'll never forget it. He said, if you will not bend, you shall break, just like everybody else had. And he said who they were.
And after that, Nadji said, the American, Robert Reagent, he has not broken. And then suddenly the crystal was blank.
Oh, that was because you screamed and broke the spell.
Oh, Bob, don't remind her of it.
Well, we may as well face it, Frank. We're in Cairo and we've come to the end of everything. If we can't find the princess, there's no possible way to find Robert. Oh, the whole thing was a fantastic dream.
Not at all. We've come to the end of one road, that's all, Dot. And don't forget this. On our side is all the power of good in the universe. This isn't the end. Far from it.
Then what will we do?
We'll wait. We'll hear from the princess. I know it.
Oh, Frank.
Oh, come, Dot. A little Oriental philosophy will do you no harm. What is time, anyway? See? I was right. We're going to hear from Nadji.
Oh, you're spooky, Uncle Frank.
Oh, thank you. You see? A letter for me.
Is it from the princess?
Of course. Here, I'll read it to you. I greet you, Chandu, and those you love who are with you.
Oh, well, then she knew we'd come to Egypt, too. Does she say anything about Robert?
She says, for a time I must not be seen in Cairo. I know it is best. The time will come when you and I will remove Roxor as the poisonous insect he is. Meanwhile, will you and your family be my guests? They will be safe in my house. Soon I shall return, or you will hear from me. I need not counsel you to be patient, for yours is the wisdom of the East. I salute you, Chandu. Nadji.
Are we going to go there and live in her house?
What do you think, Frank?
We're going without losing a minute. I want to see you all safely behind those high walls before dark.
Isn't this a beautiful room, Mother? The big lamp's like a moon.
With a nutmeg grater around it to let the light through.
Oh, Bob, you have no soul at all.
This time I'll have to agree with you, Betty.
Oh, I hope that means dinner. I'm starved.
It does. There's Abu in the doorway.
Is that his name? He looks fierce, doesn't he?
If you will come with me, the princess begs you to make her house your own.
What a beautiful table. Rose petals sprinkled all over the cloth.
Be good enough to seat yourselves. Effendi, it is well that you have come to this house.
You think so, Abu? Why?
For many reasons, Effendi. I will order the dinner to be served at once.
Hey, Uncle Frank, do you hear?
Abu, let dinner wait.
What is that, Frank?
I have heard, oh great one.
What made him bow like that all of a sudden?
Listen. It must be... Yes, it is. The blue flame.
A ball of blue fire.
Floating right down in front of you, Uncle Frank. Out of nowhere.
I've often heard of it, but this is the first time I've seen it.
There's a picture in it. Water and palm trees. It's a river.
The Nile. This must be a message from Naji.
There's a little boat with a pointed sail.
Those huts among the trees. Oh, that must be the place.
I don't see anybody.
The message. Keeper of the flame. What is the message?
Chandu, brother of the lotus, I call you.
Naji's voice. But I can't see her.
I am here, Chandu. See the light on the pathway?
Is she really there, Frank?
No, not yet.
Come to the place you see, Chandu. Follow the pathway to the place you know.
What does she mean, Uncle Frank?
There's something wrong. I don't see her, and I should.
Follow the path, but beware that you do not take the wrong turning.
Naji, where are you?
Come to this place, Chandu. I await you.
What's the matter, Frank?
There's danger. Death. Beware. Oh, Chandu, I need your help.
Naji!
Come quickly, Chandu. Death. Death.
The picture's gone.
And the flame is too.
If that was the princess.
Of course it was.
Did you recognize the place we saw?
Very well indeed.
Chandu.
Listen a minute.
Chandu. Chandu.
I don't hear anything.
I do. And I'm going to that place tonight.
Our drama has come to a close until tomorrow night. But there's drama and maybe magic in millions of homes where White King soap is used. Once upon a time, people thought they should buy 2 or 3 kinds of soap. One for washing machine and dishpan, maybe 1 or 2 for dainty things like lingerie and stockings. But more and more people discovered White King. The one and only one soap you ever need, no matter who you are, where you live, or what you have to wash. Your husband may be an engineer, or he may work in a bank. You may have sheets and pillowcases no end to wash, or you may live in a hotel with no laundering problem other than your nylons. Now listen to these wonderful words. White King gets out the stubbornest dirt. White King protects, as with a caress, the daintiest fabrics. Know what you'll say, do you? You'll say this: I love White King. Chandu the Magician is presented for your enjoyment every weekday evening. Your announcer is Howard Culver. The makers of White King invite you to listen tomorrow at this time when the story resumes. Chandu the Magician. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Visit our website at oldtimeradiopage.com for more shows on CD and cassette. If you see something on the website you'd like to hear, email us at podcast@oldtimeradiopage.com and let us know. We'll see if we can get it on for you. See you next time for more Old Time Radio. Welcome to our Old Time Radio podcast. I'm Wayne, your host. These podcasts are sponsored by oldtimeradiopage.com. Okay, turn up the volume, sit back and listen. Here's episode 10 of Chandu the Magician.
Chandu the Magician. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We present for your enjoyment tonight and every weekday evening at this time, Chandu the Magician. Before our drama starts, I would like to tell you some news, some very good news. We think it's safe to say that if you would like White King granulated soap, you can probably get it now from your grocer. You know, it has been awfully short and in many cases difficult, if not impossible to obtain. This was because during the war years, we wouldn't let White King quality down. And we just couldn't make enough of our kind of soap to fill the demand. Then, too, lots of people moved out west from the east. And once they tried White King, they found it different from, and many like it better than, any soap they'd ever used. There still isn't any too much White King, but if you're lucky, you'll find some at your grocer's tomorrow. And know what you'll say? Do you? You'll say, I love White King. Frank Chandler, his sister Dorothy Reagent, and her son and daughter are guests of the somewhat mysterious Princess Naji in Cairo. The princess is out of the city, but by her occult knowledge, she sends a message to Chandler warning him of grave danger and urging the family to join her at a small native village up the Nile. Now, late that night, a sailboat showing no lights is moving slowly up the dark river. Chandu the Magician.
How much farther is it, Frank?
Not much farther now, Dot.
Mother, you're shivering.
Oh, cold, Mom? Put my coat around you. Here.
Oh, thank you, Bobby. I'm not really cold. It's just, I don't know. There's something uncanny about the Nile.
The darkness does get on your nerves after a while.
Oh, it's more than that. There's something in the air all around us. As if the ancient Egyptians were here still.
Oh, yes, as if Cleopatra's ghostly barge might be coming down the river, right over there.
Oh, no, dear. And I don't mean Cleopatra. I mean there's something menacing in the darkness.
Oh, maybe the boatman's a spy or something. Standing there looking inscrutable and listening to every word we say.
Frank, you are sure the boatman is the one Abu engaged for?
Quite sure, Dot. You're unusually sensitive to the influence of Egypt. I told you that before. But the boatman's all right. He's one of Naji's own men, Abu said.
I can hardly wait to see Princess Naji. Uncle Frank, did you know she was a sorceress when you saved her life in Alexandria?
Well, not at that time, of course, but I soon discovered it. Or at least that she was supposed to be.
Do you like her a lot?
Now, dear, don't ask personal questions.
I was only thinking it would be wonderful to have a princess for an aunt.
Oh, I don't think I'd care for Naji as an aunt.
Oh, I don't mean you. I mean me.
Oh. What in the world is that?
Just a dog. You know, Mohammedans despise dogs. The worst thing they can call a man is a dog. So they have a pretty unpleasant time of it here.
Oh.
Don't think about it, Mother. Think about the princess. Uncle Frank, is she beautiful?
Well, you know how she looks, Betty. You saw her in the crystal.
Yes, but I was looking at her clothes and thinking how strange it was. The whole thing, I mean. And watching that wicked-looking man she was talking to.
Well, I saw her. She has smooth black hair and big black eyes. And did you notice her hands, Uncle Frank? Kind of...
Well, listen to you. Hands like butterflies. That's what the prince said.
Huh?
The storyteller, I mean.
Oh, that's right, he did. Do you suppose he meant the princess by all that stuff about the beautiful girl in the garden?
I wonder. You know, Dot, I'm sure now he meant to give you a message, but for some reason decided it was dangerous to come right out with it.
Oh, if we only knew who he was.
Say, Betty, why do you always call him the prince?
Why, he said... that's what he...
Betty, did that man say something to you that Bob and I didn't hear?
Well...
Come on. He did, didn't he? Well, what did he say, the big lug?
Listen, Betty. That storyteller may be a man who can help us find your father, if he's alive. Or he may be in the pay of Roxor. If he said anything to you privately, there was a reason for it. Did he?
Well... Yes, he did.
How do you like that?
What was it he said, honey?
It wasn't very much, Uncle Frank. Just that he was really a prince and...
Darling, you should have known better than to talk to him at all.
Was that all he had to say?
No. He just said that if I liked the stories he told, he'd come and tell me another sometime. Something like that.
Well, how did he think he could find you? Did he ask you where you were staying?
No, he just said, I will come to you again. And the next thing I knew, Mother came up and said he had on that ring that was Daddy's. And the prince was gone.
The prince.
Why didn't you tell me, dear?
I was going to, but, well, it was kind of an adventure, and I didn't think about his being a spy or anything.
You know, I'm beginning to think he wanted you to see that ring, Dot.
Well, then why should he vanish like a puff of smoke when he knew I did see it?
Because of whatever interrupted the story.
You know what I wonder? If the prince, the storyteller, was trying to tell us where the princess is hiding.
Oh, that awful sound.
I don't think Nudge is hiding from Roxor.
You don't?
I think she may have discovered something that would lead her to him.
She must know where he is, Frank.
No. From what I gathered from Yusuf, Roxor has a sort of secret headquarters no one can find.
The man that came to Yusuf's house that night said Roxor had a hiding place far away. Remember?
Yes, but that's not much help. Most of these people have lived all their lives in one place, except when they make their pilgrimage to Mecca. So far away could mean anything from 1 mile to 1,000 miles.
Then perhaps the princess has found Roxor. Maybe she's there now, and even Robert might be.
I almost hope not. Remember what we heard Nadji say in the Blue Flame?
Danger. Death. Oh, Frank, will we never get there?
Just a few minutes now, Dot. Oh, we're pulling into shore, you see?
Oh, look, Bobby, palm trees. Just like California.
Yeah, and just like we saw in that Blue Flame thing.
Hold on now. We'll probably hit the bank with a bump. There's just a few feet to the top of the bank. I'll give you a hand, Dot.
Thank you.
Here you go, Beth.
Okay,
Will the boatman wait here for us?
No, we won't need him. We'll be going back another way.
my shoes are full of sand already.
So are mine.
Shake them out here on the path.
How fine the sand is. Like the pulverized bones of people that lived here 5,000 years ago.
Oh, Betty.
You're just plain gruesome, you know that?
Well, Egypt makes you think of things like that. There. I'm ready.
You ready, Dot? Down this way.
You should have brought a flashlight. It's darker than ever among the trees.
I have one, Bob. But I know the way, and I don't want to make a light yet. Now, let's stop a minute. Listen.
I don't hear anything but the wind blowing the sand.
I'm freezing. It's colder now than it was on the river.
It always is here at night. We're just on the edge of the desert. I hear someone walking in the sand.
I hear it, too.
Here, Bob. Take the flashlight. Don't turn it on until I tell you.
Okay.
Stand still. Don't move, any of you. Stop. Stand right where you are. Bob, turn on the light.
It's the prince!
Is this the man you saw? Is it, Dot?
Yes, I know it is.
Good. Now then, who are you?
I am called Abdallah, Effendi.
What do you mean by the story you told my sister in the bazaar?
When the time is right, I will tell you, Effendi. But now it is another message I have brought.
I don't want to hear it now. You have a certain ring, a man's ring, and the top is a seal, a signet, with the initials RMR. Where is it?
There is a mistake, Effendi.
I saw it on your finger.
Abdallah, where is the ring?
See my hands in the bright light? I have no ring.
Isn't there any way to make him talk?
I have come to bring you a message, sister of the Effendi. Most important to you.
I don't want any message. Just tell me where you got that ring.
Yes, and make it snappy. We have a date.
Bob.
You know, Effendi, that if evil should befall me because of your magic, The lady, your sister, will never learn of the ring. Will you be pleased to listen to my message?
All right, tell us what it is. Let's get this over.
Dorothy, you're playing right into his hands.
If the Effendi will listen, he will learn the answer to many questions.
Where is the ring?
The name of him who sent me is secret, but I can...
Is it Roxor?
You know his name?
Where is he now?
Far away.
Oh, that again.
Many days away in the desert. Effendi, you will be wise not to become his enemy. What he desires always comes to pass. He is never defeated.
He still hasn't those drawings that were stolen from my sister's house in America, though.
You know where they are? You know?
Then he hasn't got them. And you can tell him from me he never will. All right. What's this message of yours?
Effendi, let me be your friend. Let me help you.
How?
To protect those you love. Your sister and the little white flower, her daughter.
Who, me?
Betty.
Why, you big... Hey, come back here.
Where does he go?
I dropped the flashlight and it went out.
And he's gone among the trees. We won't see him again tonight. Well, we may as well go on. Can you see the path?
Yes, but he didn't tell us about the ring after all.
He didn't have to, Dot. He told us he works for Roxor. Showing you the ring was a decoy, just as I thought. Let's stop here a moment. Here's a landmark I recognize.
I don't see anything but darkness. Uncle Frank, I'm sorry I made so much trouble just letting him speak to me the other day.
Never mind, dear. It's done now. Well, this is the place, I'm sure.
What is it?
A hut. The first in the village.
You mean there are people all around here? It's awfully quiet.
Yes, I know. There are only half a dozen huts, and they may be empty now. Around the corner here, the door should be right here.
The princess can't be in there, Uncle Frank. It's all dark.
What a place to meet a princess.
Nudgy. Bob, where's the flashlight?
Right here. I hope it isn't full of sand.
Ooh, what a closed-up, musty smell. Are you sure this is the place, Frank?
Turn the light on, Bob.
Oh, it's stuck or something. There.
Empty.
How could anybody live in an awful place like this? There isn't a thing in it.
Where could she have gone?
Well, this must be the wrong... Look over there on the floor. Turn the light over that way, Bob.
What? It's a piece of silk.
It's a scarf. Look.
It must be Nudgy's. She was terrified when she sent me that message. Death, she said. Death. But whose death? Whose death does it mean?
Monday night, Chandu continues, and you'll want to join Dorothy Reagent, Betty, and Bob in their thrills and adventures. So you'll be with us Monday evening at this same time, won't you? Probably tomorrow, you'll be marketing. And maybe on Monday, there'll be a washing you'll have to do. Look, here's a suggestion. Get a couple of packages of White King soap tomorrow. Get the giant size package if you can. And will you be proud of your washing? The white things so very white. The colored things so safely guarded. The washing time shortened so considerably. The effort reduced so that you're hardly tired. And your hands feeling so good. Because White King is gentle not only to clothes, but to hands as well. Know what you'll say when you've used White King, do you? You'll say, I love that soap. Chandu the Magician is based on the original radio drama created by Harry R.A. Earnshaw. The makers of White King invite you to listen Monday at this time when the story resumes. Chandu the Magician. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Would you like a shout out? Leave a comment in the section below. Tell me who you want to shout out to, who you want to shout out from, and we'll get it up here for you. Hey, we want to say thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss any. You got a lot more of these up there. Go check them out under the playlist. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you want to see, what you think, and we'll see you next time.